So here we're looking at a system that's been integrated with Lightspeed X, and we're looking in the new planner. So let's go ahead and make a new reservation. So we're going to go ahead and choose this stump jumper for 3 days. And I'm going to go ahead and make a reservation for Mr. Gordon. So as you can see with bin BRM, you can make a reservation with very minimal information, just the bike, the dates, the customer. And we're now going to manage that reservation. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, got Mr. Gordon here. If I click on the record, you see it's not currently linked to anything because it's been made in BRM. So the origin of this customer is going to be BRM. And now what we're going to do is transfer. We're going to do add transaction. Now we've set up our payment methods to default to Lightspeed X. I'm going to take the full amount, and I could put in notes in here, very optional if you want transaction notes. And then I transfer to Lightspeed. So when the two systems are connected up, it automatically connects to your Lightspeed, and it automatically creates a new ticket in their register for us to be able to close out. And it's linked it to the customer, which is made on the fly, Mr. Gordon. So I can go ahead and pay for this rental. Now I've set up different within my Lightspeed X. I've set up cash, Visa, for example, but you can, that's according to whatever you have. Let's go ahead and pay for that, complete the sale, prints the invoice. We don't need to do that right now. And then crucially, when we come back into BRM, we've added the transaction. So in our transaction log, we heard back from Lightspeed and it said, I've transacted £70 on this date and time with this user, and this is the platform that it's been done against, Lightspeed X. So that's what we're talking about. There's no rekeying, super quick to do. There's no human error that creeps into that, and we've recorded that. Let's go and have a look. Something else we can do. If we go over in here back into, oh, sorry, I think I forgot to share the Lightspeed tab. Back into Lightspeed where I was closing out that sale. Let's go ahead and find Mr. Gordon. And let's just do Mr. Gordon over here. There's Mr. Gordon. Let's open up this customer profile, edit customer. So remember I said we didn't really have much information. So maybe that's Dave Gordon. We put in their email test@test.com, and we save the changes. So the point I'm making here is that within Lightspeed, we've transacted it here. This is where I did it a minute ago when I forgot to share the screen. Apologies. And now we've gone back in and we've updated the customer. So let's go ahead now and go back into BRM, and we have a look at the Gordon record. Again, we just had the first name, but we're going to see now I'm linked. It knows that I'm linked. I'm going to update that from Lightspeed, and it brings in the data as well. So it's really nice. We're not just linking on the reservation and the transaction level, but we're also linking on the customer level. So I can now save that down. We've saved the customer ID. We have this unique customer ID. We can open that customer in Lightspeed. We can sync, and we can update to or from Lightspeed as well. Okay, so that's talking about two-way customer integration. So that's really, really nice way of doing that. Let me just show you that because I forgot to do it earlier. Let's just say that I want to, let's just do another one very quickly. Let's do a new customer Brown. Let's add that in. And then let's just send that over, add transaction to Lightspeed. And then that's going to open that up in the new tab. And we're going to share this tab. So this is what I meant to show you earlier. Comes in, it brings up automatically Lightspeed, automatically brings up the transaction. And then you can close that out by paying for that, whatever method you want to do, close that out and print that out. So that's the bit that you missed before in Lightspeed, and that's now been done. Let's go back to BRM. And there's a couple of other things I want to show you. So let's just say that we've got another reservation, and I want to show you the different transaction types that I mentioned in the overview before. So let's just do record mode. So on this particular transaction here, I've got a Wilson booking. It's £60. Nothing has been paid. So here what I can do, now I can either access this green, the transactions part of BRM by clicking on the green thing here, or I can do add transaction. Either way it does it, and it gets ready to take money. So I can, let's just say that I'm going to take 30 in cash for whatever reason. I can record that payment. So this is what I was talking about before, is we actually allow you to just record transactions by whatever means you want. in that way. Okay, so that's an example. We've done transfer to point of sale. We've now just done the record mode. Let's have another look. The final type of transaction that we might want to do, add transaction, this time by Stripe. So we're going to say we want to do it by Stripe, but look, we don't have any credit cards saved. So we can click here to add a credit card. Now this is one of our test systems. So we've got a test credit card. Let's add that in, and then let's add in the date, CVC code, and then fictitious zip code. So now we have a credit card, and what's nice about the system is that you can actually add these as many credit cards as you want, and now we can run an actual charge. It would be an actual charge if it wasn't the test Stripe platform, but it happens it's a test transaction, an actual payment against that £30, and we can process that payment, and it will actually charge the card, again, just on the test system at the moment. So that's the 3 different types of transaction that we can do, and it records the special type, it records the amount, records the balance, the time, and the user. All of that gets recorded. So there you get a flavor of how it's integrated within BRM, and you can do the different payment types, the 3 different payment types. Let's go and finally have a look at another one. I want to do add transaction, but this time I want to take, it's a really special bike, and I want to take £500 as a security payment. And this is also where you access pre-auth, but I won't bother showing you that. So we can put in here, security for my stump job, but you might want to put some notes in there. And now when you process that, it is going to charge the card, so you may have a residual fee, but again, that's the cost of holding this money, which is a very useful service. But it puts this up here, which is really useful. So now when I access the monetary area, it reminds me about that. It records it as a special kind of transaction in here, which is a security transaction. When I go to the next stage, it checks it out. And when the customer comes back and I check that back in again, it reminds me in the workflow to repay that money. Okay, so I can then put in a transaction for -500 security payment, and that will record that. So I won't go into the details of that. You get the general idea. Okay, wonderful. So I want to finish this demo off so that it's nice and short and sweet. We've been through the different types of reservations. We've been through the security. Now I want to just show you some setup information. So the first thing you're going to want to look at is if you go into the integrations area of BRM, we've got our own integration section with things like Slack, MailChimp, webhooks, Twilio, etc. You're going to want to look at Lightspeed R, Lightspeed X, and Citrus Lime. Those are the 3 point of sale systems we currently integrate with. So this particular shop is set up with Lightspeed X. So you run through the setup protocol, and there's some help for you on our knowledge base. Tells us we're connected to which product, to which store. It tells us the respective rates of tax that we have, both locally and at Lightspeed X, and which register you're connected to. So all of the information is stored for you there in setup. And there's something very similar for the other kinds of integration that we do as well. Let's go and have a look at payment methods. This is worth understanding as well. So when you look at your payments, you have to remember, of course, there's 3 different types, and these are reflected in the icon. So the blue ones are special, where we do take money. The black ones are just record mode. Okay, so it's just when you're telling BRM that some money has changed hands. So blue with the arrow means transfer. So that's Lightspeed and Citrus Lime and Lightspeed X. And then Stripe and PayPal are onboard integrated processors. So you can actually process the money yourself. Then what you do is you can order these, what order you want, by dragging and dropping them around. You can enable them, and you can choose which your default is. So in this particular store, I had Stripe. I had credit card, again, as a record-only payment method. Then I had Lightspeed as a transfer, and that was my default, which is why it came at the top of the list when I did add transaction. And then I had cash as another option. So all of the other ones were hidden, but they can easily be enabled. Okay, finally, for having a look at settings for managing your payments, if we go and have a look at online payment method. So remember I said the primary use of an integrated payment platform like Stripe is for taking online payments. So here's where you set that up: project management, payment management, payment processes, Stripe webhooks. So you put in your publisher key and your secret key. you connect that up, and then you set that up, and then you're now connected. Okay, so that's really useful. You're connected to your particular Stripe account. BRM does not act as a middleman. So when the payment is made in the online booking, it goes straight into your account. Okay, and then finally, the last bit I want to show you, I mentioned before, is the transactions area. So if we go into reporting and graphing, it's worth saying, I'm just going to highlight the new data dashboard, which we've been rolling out this year. So do check that out. Everybody will have it within a couple of weeks, but we've been rolling that out. I think about 250 shops have got it at the moment. So do check that out for all of the data about your year so far. In the same area, you want to go to the transactions page. And if you hit on there, this is what I was talking about before. So every time we take some money and you tell BRM that we took some money, we record the transaction, not just at the reservation level, but also globally here, so that you can do reconciliation. You can link through. So each of these reservation references is a link through to the reservation detail. It tells you who did it at what time, how much for, what the security type was. Sorry, the type was it, whether it was security or payment, what the method was, what the processor or platform was as well. So all of the data you need is there. You can download, you can export, you can search, you can change the parameters. So that's super useful, and it's a critical part of running your bike operation. Okay, so that's it. We like to try and keep these things under half an hour if we can. So now I'm going to see if we got any questions. I don't think we do, but let me just have a look. If anybody wants to come up with any questions now, you've got about 30 seconds to do so. Otherwise, no, there's no questions in there. So thank you all for coming. You'll be getting a copy of this as well if you registered for the webinar. Do please ask any questions you might have about payments, transactions, point of sale integrations. We've got plenty of resources. We can always drop on a call if you've got any other questions. Thanks very much. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.